Hey guys, I'm Mercer here. Welcome to Temple of the Jade Serpent, Feral Druid version. So we're going to be taking a look at the Feral Druid and what he's all about, his abilities, his rotation, his spells, and basically what's changed about him. So let's just jump right into it. First off, Mangles has changed in the following ways. It no longer applies the bleed debuff, and his main use is probably PvP right now due to the fact that it implies infected wounds, and if you have a Druid on live right now, you know what that is. For those of you who don't know what that is, infected wounds basically slows the target's movement speed, so in PvP it's very useful because there's no facing requirement for it, so you can use it whenever you want to, and you don't need to actually be behind the target. You know, it's really, really good that way. Another one that has changed is, let's talk about Feral Charge. Feral Charge used to be the main way that Feral Druid was open. They would Feral Charge in, they would get a free Ravage. That no longer exists. Basically, Feral Charge is part of the talent at level 15 called Wild Charge, and when you charge in, if you have the talent as a Feral Druid, nothing happens. The only thing that does happen is you daze the target for 3 seconds by 60%, I think. You no longer get a free Ravage. As you can see right there, my Ravage is my 6 and it didn't proc or anything like that. So your spammable is Shred, and basically the reason Mangle does not apply the debuff for bleeds anymore is because Shred automatically does 20% more damage to targets that are already bleeding, basically. So that's probably why Mangle doesn't apply the debuff anymore. So let's talk a little bit about Tiger's Fury. Tiger's Fury does the same thing. It basically gives you, I think, 60 energy back and increases physical damage by 20 or 30%, I think, something like that. And basically, you use it as like an energy potion. Kind of like if you're low on energy, you can use it. If you're about to open, you can use it. I'm not 100% sure if it increases your maximum energy. I think it doesn't anymore. It used to, but yeah, basically use that when you need energy to set up a burst in PvP or PvE. So that's very useful in that sense. Now, one thing that I never liked as a Feral Druid, and I'm pretty sure most PvP Feral Druids don't like, is Savage Roar. It just feels like a waste of combo points. All it does is increase your auto attack damage. It's useful. However, I personally would much rather spend it on like a 5-point rip. So let's talk about the talents I got. I got Ursul's Vortex, which basically, I put it down, and if whatever enemy tries to escape, the first time they try to escape, they get pulled back in, and their movement speed is reduced. That's very good if you're being chased with the Flagon, Worsen Gulch, or Eye of the Storm, Twin Peaks. It's very useful. It has a lot of uses, and it's just a great talent and ability. The other one is Cenarian Ward. I basically put kind of like a single-use prayer mending on myself, and anytime I take damage, it'll heal me a certain amount. The next one is Incarnation, and Incarnation goes hand in hand with Feral Druids because Feral Druids get Berserk. And what Berserk does is it reduces the cost of all your cat form abilities by 50%, and Incarnation for Feral Druids gives you an improved cat form. So those really go hand in hand. You can get a lot of burst damage out with those two. So basically, pop those two at the same time and you're going to be set up for massive amounts of damage. Now, Feral Kitties now have Thrash, and for those of you who don't know what Thrash is a bear form ability on live right now, and it's basically Swipe with a dot component. It doesn't hit as hard as Swipe initially, but what it lacks in that, it makes up for in the dot. So your AoE rotation would consist of Thrash, spam Swipe until you need to reapply Thrash. Very, very simple. Your single target rotation would look something like this. Pounce, Rake, Shred, Shred, Shred to 5 combo points, Rip, Shred, 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 and then at 5 combo points again. If your Rip is about to fall off, re-Rip. If not, you could get a Ferocious Bite in there, keep Rake up, and keep Fairy Fire up throughout the entire fight. That goes without saying, just it helps your damage. Now, one thing they did to Feral Druids that really messed us up when it comes to attacking healers and casters is they put our Skull Bash on a 15-second cooldown. So that is really painful if we're trying to kill a healer, because we gotta wait 15 seconds. And some people may say, oh, well, it's only an extra 5 seconds, how bad could it be? An extra 5 seconds of healing in PvP, an extra 5 seconds of damaging you in PvP, an extra 5 seconds of a really hard-hitting spell in PvE, or even healing in PvE, it is not going to be good. So your teammates will really have to be on their game about their interrupts. So right here, basically just opened up on the boss with my macro, which consists of Incarnation and Berserk, getting the most out of both, doing as much damage as I can, keeping my bleeds up. And one thing I want to touch on is, at 5 combo points, when you use a finishing move, you have a chance to gain, it's called Predatory Strikes. And what Predatory Strikes does is it makes your next nature spell with a base cast less than 10 seconds, so like Healing Touch, Regrowth, Rebirth. I'm not sure about Revive, but anyway, those following spells make it instant. So if you're in a battleground, or if you're in a PvP situation, and if you're in PvE and your tank goes down and you have Predatory Strikes up, your Rebirth will be instant to get that tank back up. If you're in battlegrounds and the healer around you goes down and you have Predatory Strikes up, you can Rebirth it instantly. There's no chance of someone being able to counterspell it or interrupt it or lock you out of the nature spell class, because it will be instant. So it's very, very useful to keep an eye on your buffs for that. So basically, I'm gonna be showing you in a minute the high AoE damage you can pull off. But all in all, Feral Druids are very, very fun. A lot has changed about them, but overall, I think they're going to be a lot better in Pandaria. And one of my favorite Major Glyphs for Druids is basically removes the speed reduction from Prowl. So that's very good, very useful for PvP. And Cat Form in general will increase your movement speed by 25%. It does not matter on your specialization. So very useful for Resto Druids, Balance Druids, Guardians running the flag, especially Guardians and Resto Druids. And if you put Wild Charge and Typhoon hand in hand, it could devastate. So here's the AoE damage I was talking about. And why I said it is because I was on my Resto Druid today and I basically was getting crushed by a Affliction Warlock on 2nd floor of Warsun Gulch, and I used my Wild Charge talent. I got my Cat Form. I Wild Charged up there. I got behind him without him noticing me because I was stealth, and I Typhooned him off down into my team that ended up killing him. So it's all situational, and it's all just knowing how to use spells, how to use what spells and when to use them. And also during Incarnation for cats, you don't actually need to be facing a certain way to use Shred. You could just spam it, so that's very, very useful. And also kitties have survival instincts, so that's awesome too.
You must destroy the source of the corruption. Quickly, before our cherished history is erased forever.
So all Pounce does now, just so you guys know, is basically it applies a debuff and stuns the target. So it's not very very different. But I think the stun, I think it's the exact same, but the stun is just a little bit longer. So that's cool too, and very good to look forward to if you're a Feral Druid. So tomorrow I'll be moving on to a new class for Warriors and Druids alike joining us. The Druid series of the comparison video in Temple of the Jade Serpent are done. This will be the last one of these series. I did Resto, Guardian, Balance, and now Feral, and my Warrior ones are done, Prot, Arms, and Fury. I'll be moving on to a new class tomorrow. I'm not quite sure which one yet. I will try my best to get all three out tomorrow, but with the beta, you know, we had to wait like an hour queue for a Battleground today, so I will try my best, and I will really, really try my hardest to get all the classes and specs out before the beta closes. If I don't, I am terribly sorry. I am trying my hardest. If there is something you'd like to see on the beta, just send me a personal message or leave a comment below, and I will try my hardest to do so. And as always, subscribe, like, and comment for more. I'm going to continuously bring out videos. I'm going to try at least once a day unless my day is extremely busy, but I will try my hardest to do one a day in all areas. And yeah, I really appreciate the subscribes, I really appreciate the likes, and I very much appreciate the views and comments. Subscriptions help. You guys have no idea how much subscriptions help. Thank you guys so much. So on this fight, as I've said in my Guardian video, and I believe my Fury video, if you don't know who to attack, just follow the Thorn. You should put that on a t-shirt. So on accident I hit my keybind for more health, and went in a bear form. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not doing my Guardian video right now. So just trying to keep my bleeds up and trying to shred the boss down. But feral Druids are very fun. I could see them again becoming one of the most wanted single target DPS. And one thing I want to touch on is I did a test today for AoE looting because I heard that's coming out, and I basically one-pulled Sunken Temple, sorry I can't remember the name, Sunken Temple on my Fire Mage on the beta. And I put it to free-for-all. Me and my fiance did it. And I clicked one button. I looted everybody. So farmers, I know one of the reasons I hate farming mats and I hate farming things you need to loot is because it takes 2 minutes to kill them, but then it takes 10 minutes to loot them. So that is no longer the case. That is very good. I'm so happy Blizzard is doing it. I'm so happy. So as you can see in these few fights right here, you see the amount of AoE DPS I'm actually pulling. I almost died earlier because of it, because I was so mesmerized on the numbers. So by playing the beta right now, I give the Pandaria right now a 10 out of 10. I mean, some of the things that are coming on pet battles, BOA mounts, pets, titles, achievements, talent system, everything's going to be amazing. And, you know, I'm sure when I say that, people are going to be like, oh, well, PvP is unbalanced. The complete truth of it, and I do not like admitting this because I'm a heavy PvPer, the complete and utter truth of it is PvP will always be unbalanced because balance to one person is not balanced to another. For example, if I'm on my Discipline Priest and I'm like, oh, well, the rogue can one-shot me, that's unbalanced. But if the rogue says, oh, well, he can heal my damage, basically what I'm trying to say is it's all situational. If 3 people attack a priest, there's not going to be much chance for the priest. If the priest attacks a rogue, catches it out of stealth, and the rogue is complaining, well, of course, it's a healer. But, you know, I think everyone needs to basically just relax and enjoy the game, including me. I get a little frustrated sometimes, for sure, but, We're all human, right? So another big change coming to Druids, for those of you who don't know, is basically on my Resto Druid, as an example, I don't actually have to go into cat form to prowl. I just have prowl on my top right action bar. I click prowl and it activates cat form for me. Might of Ursulk, I think it's called, which is like the last stand move for Feral Druids and Guardian Druids. That activates bear form. It's awesome. It's just amazing. If you pick the Mighty Bash one, it basically, you don't need to go into bear form to use it. It's usable in all shapeshift forms. So during that fight just a few seconds ago, I had predatory strikes up and I used it to res my hunter. Instantaneously, it could not have been interrupted, getting my hunter back in the fight that quickly and getting me back to DPSing. Alright, so just going to cut there. We had a little AFK sequence rather, not AFK. And I did not move because I was again just trying to concentrate on doing as much damage as possible. Thank the healer in this one for keeping me alive. Feral Druids are very fun. I'm quite looking forward to playing mine on live. Right there I noticed the purple stuff. I'm like, oh hey, immersed, you should move. But it's a kitty, what are we gonna do? If you have a house cat, you know what that's all like. They just do things when they feel it's the right time to do it. Alright, another AFK sequence, so just switching to the boss fight. Popping both Berserk and Incarnation, getting my Rake up, getting 5 combo points, getting my Rip up, starting to spam Shred, getting a lot of crits up there. Waiting for the best moment to use my Tiger's Fury. Get the energy back right there so I can just take this guy down. And I always try to take this guy on alone so you guys can see just how single target DPS is. I know my group isn't happy about it all the time, but I try for my viewers and I try for my subscribers. So just swiping these guys down, getting out of Thrash there. I really like the Feral Druid Rip dependency though. One of my favorite Warlock specs is Affliction, so it almost feels like a DPS Affliction lock, even though that what the Unholy Death Knight is. Well, somewhat like it. I'm not saying it was made after an Affliction lock. I'm saying it's like it, but yeah. So again, just AoEing these guys down. Getting my Thrash up there, getting my Demoralizing Roar up there. Or rather, not my Demoralizing Roar, that was a tank. That was, sorry, I just did a Guardian video today. A lot of different commentary in such a short amount of time. Excuse the odd mistake. Yeah, they are so much fun. I mean, one of the I think one of the best things about them is just the versatilitiness of them, and one of the 90 talents allows Feral Druids to basically act as any role. No, I'm not saying entirely, like you can't be spec'd as Feral and then go tank, or you can't be spec'd as Feral and go heal. But it gives us just enough to sustain a few seconds if we needed to. If our healer dropped, we could heal. If our tank dropped, we could tank. And that's one of the 90 talents. So, getting ready for the last stage of the main boss fight. I'm going to pop my DPS goal down here. Get my Incarnation and my Berserk up right there. Start shredding. Get my Rip up. Shred, 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 shred. Try and get a nice crit Ferocious Bite in. There it is. There it is, 33k. Get my shreds up there. Finish it right before the shadow phase. And there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This concludes the Druid spec and class on my comparison videos. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, like, subscribe, and comment. It would greatly help me. I'm very appreciative. And as always, guys, happy hunting. Thank you.